Hello YouTubes, this is Grimweird coming back at you with more Enigmatica 2 Expert mod pack for Minecraft 1.12.2. As always, I am joined by my lovely avatar, Zombie Steve. So last episode I sort of didn't get accomplished much. I doodled around, not exactly sure how I want to generate power and store power and distribute power and what to do with that power. But as we can see here, I've made some decisions and I got trying to set some things up here. So if we go back down, at the end of last episode, I did play around with the RF tools power cells and the ability to link them together using these power cell cards that will link them across a distance. That's something that was new to me. I've never tried that. So I made a couple of those. And then since last episode, I upgraded them from simple power cells to normal power cells. And so what I'm doing now is I went ahead and made a bunch of Mekanism Wind Generators. So the wind generators, if we take a look at those, they weren't too hard to build. Basically, the only real thing that was, took a second was they take a lot of windmill blades, which is a lot of treated wood. Fortunately, I had a ton of creosote, not a ton, but I had multiple tanks of creosote around from all of my coal coke production days early on in the mod pack. So I had plenty of creosote, so I just banged out stacks and stacks of treated wood planks, turned them into windmills. Other than that, it was just some osmium and some gold and iron and redstone, and these things aren't too bad to make. So I busted out 6 wind generators, and if we go upstairs, now these apparently are more efficient the farther up in the air you get them, so this may be a temporary solution. But just to show you what my thoughts are here, and again, I'm not an expert, so I'm learning as I go here. I wanted to minimize the amount of connectors I used from XNet, which is the main thing I'm using right at the moment for just moving energy and stuff about. So these have a tendency to pump their output through this plate here. So I put them face to face and put a connector in between them. So I'm only having to use 3 connectors. I stacked the XNet controller on top of that and put the power cell next to that. So, but like as I showed you with the one that I ran some cables down the back. So this only had 3 connectors to attach 6, 7, 8 things together. So that's pretty good. And as I showed you with the cattle ranch, I like these XNet pipes pretty well, but to set up the network, you can see the controller has 0 of 100,000 FE, or I think that's flux energy, but it's essentially RF. And it's hooked up to all these wind generators, and these wind generators all have 80,000 sitting in them. So we have tons of energy here. But unfortunately, it takes energy to set up the controller to then get it fed by the windmills. So I need to go grab something. I think I'll go downstairs and maybe grab my RTG. So we'll go ahead and grab that bad boy. And we will slap this on the controller long enough to get it set up. And then we'll bring it back down here. So now I'm going to plop the RTG down on top of this. You can now see that the XNet controller is filling up with energy, which means that now we have the power to set it up to receive energy from the system. So now again, I've done a few of these now, so I sort of know what I'm doing, but sort of not. But basically what we want to do is we want to set all of the windmills up. So first we have to create channel 1, and we're going to create channel 1 as XNet Energy. Create. This V in the check mark means it's active, so we'll just leave it like that for now. And then we're going to go through all of these bad boys and create inserts, because they're going to be inserting power into this energy grid. And then on the power cell, we're going to create that and call it extract. And then on this, we're going to create that and call it insert. Oops, insert. So now, in theory, the controller can be powered by the windmills from its XNet energy channel and would no longer need the RTG. So now we can send that back downstairs. Just double check that it went down there so I don't lose it. Yes, it did. Okay. All of this teleporting about I'm doing in case you're sort of just going through these out of order or looking for something in particular. That is from the brown magic on my slime pickaxe and slime hammer. Brown magic lets you set a teleportation point and then hit a button to teleport there. So I've got the pickaxe upstairs and the hammer downstairs. Alright, so we are now powering this guy just from the system. It's a little on the low side. I mean, it's not immediately topped off. In fact, it's slowly losing power. And I think that's because power is getting sucked out of all of this into our energy cube downstairs. So probably what I'm going to have to do is, let's see. Yeah, so I think what's probably happening here is that all the wind generated power is going in. It's all coming there. And nope, it's not getting sucked up there. All right. So what is going on? So power is not coming out of the wind generator because they are all maxed out. So something's wrong here. Have I got all these backwards? Do we want to extract from the wind generators? And then insert into these two? Alright, so now it looks like we're definitely sucking all the power out of the windmills now. So I have a tendency to get confused whether it's insert from or extract from. But it looks like we wanted to insert from the windmills into the network, or sorry, extract. See, I'm already getting confused again. But anyway, you can always double check it just by mousing over stuff. So I'm extracting power from all the windmills. I'm inserting it into the cube, so it's now getting some power. Unfortunately, what I'm doing now is I think I'm doing what I just thought I was doing, which is this power cell is linked to the other power cell, and as it comes in, it's getting sucked into this energy cell, which I'm not 100% sure I want to do or if it's even sustainable. So this is going up sort of slowly. Let's double check this. The only thing I'm not 100% sure about here about this whole situation is that if the controller gets down to 0 power, I don't think it loses its net energy, or it doesn't lose this channel. I think it's fine. You know, if it gets down to 0, I don't have to reprime it with power to set this up again because it's all set up. So I think worst case scenario, if it got down to 0, it would like chug a second, and then it would get more power from the windmill, and then it would come back up. But I'll keep an eye on this. I think this is going to work out for us. So now we're feeding more power into our base, and more power into the big old monster energy cell that we have up here. So I'm going to put this back up there and get a feel for how much. So we're now pumping in, we're ticking up. We're ticking up, 100,000 every few seconds, so that's not too bad. Yeah, we're cooking along. So, all right, and that's without sending anything over from this, which is also generating a decent amount of power. All right, so anyway, I'm continuing to experiment with power and whatnot. Since I'm unfamiliar with a lot of these things, I may also try making some of the mechanism, essentially capacitors, they call them, or batteries, they call them energy cubes. So I have a decent amount of reinforced blast bricks because I wanted to cross the reinforced blast oven, or the advanced improved blast furnace off the list, but I didn't actually ever build it, so I have 27 of these bad boys that I never actually used, and we have more ways to make steel now, so I don't think I'm going to need to ever use it. So I have these 27 reinforced blast bricks, so I may just go ahead and try making some of these, because I can make a lot of steel casings pretty easily. I'm going to burn through a bunch of osmium, but that's alright. And the rest of this stuff I can make pretty easy, burn through some gold, but that's okay. So I think the next thing I'm going to try is make some of these basic energy cubes, and then those can be fed into, they call them what, inductors or something? Basic induction cells. So each one of those can then be turned into, with a little lithium dust and some more gold and stuff, into basic induction cells, and each of these will store 400 million RF. And so I might go ahead and try and make some of these, since I'm sort of new to all of these mods, figuring out exactly what I want to do. Now these can't be, I don't think can't be enchanted with holding 4, but still 400 million is pretty darn big. This is, this bad boy is resonant, and it's 750 million advanced all the way up to resonant, and with holding 4 on it. But these guys aren't that bad to make, and they'll hold 400 million. And if I take them up a notch, they'll hold 3.2 giga RF. That's an awful lot of stuff to make, but an awful lot of gold and shit. But, I could probably do that. I could probably make some of these. So I might try these out just to get a feel for them. And I'll make a few, and we'll play around with them and see what I like and what I don't like. And I might make another load of the power cells. Again, I sort of need to, as I'm figuring this out, just be able to get power wirelessly around the base, and upstairs and downstairs and all that garbage. So figuring out that the RF tools could be linked across distance with these power cell cards is really going to help me with that. So that was a good find at the end of the last episode. All right, so that's what's going on with the wind generation. Not sure how fast these are doing it, but I know they'll be more efficient if I put them up in the air, but I just wanted to put them right here for now just to get a feel for what they're up to and to see if I could get things to work. The controller is still counting down on power, so we'll see if this crashes, if it gets down to 0 power in the controller. I don't think it will, but it might. Alright, I'm babbling. I'm going to make some of those mechanism inductor cells, or at least the power cell parts, and play around with those a bit, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've been farting around making some stuff. I was keeping an eye on my new wind farm up here, and as I feared, my big old capacitor downstairs has sucked all the power out of this, and it depowered the controller, which then crashed this network. So you can see my wind generators have power sitting there, but they're no longer being sucked out, and the controller is out of power. So we're going to have to reprime this, and I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's see, which one is this? I guess it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of these and kill it, and then I'm going to make a second one, and let's see, we can take this off of there too. And on this one, we're going to extract power from one of the windmills and input it into the thing. And I think that will have a dedicated wind generator going towards the controller, which should keep the big old capacitors from sucking everything out of this network and then crashing the network when the controller goes to no power and can no longer control the network. So if we just go downstairs and borrow our RTG again to reprime the XNet controller upstairs, and we'll take a look at that and see how it works. Now, this is just for test purposes. Obviously, an entire wind generator just for the controller is overkill power-wise. But if this works, then I'll maybe make like a little... guy here. So, yeah, so this is powering up. And now, let's see, it is going up, and it's topped off. Meanwhile, the wind generators, there should be one wind generator which has a lot in it because the controller isn't eating that much. 83, 83, 83, 83, 83, or not. That's topped off. That's sending power there. I'll send that back downstairs. Oh, now this is going down again. So let me open this up and highlight this bad boy and see if changing some sort of priority can do something for it. Not exactly sure how the priorities work. Insertion priority. And we're still dropping. And we're still sucking all our power into... Alrighty. So maybe I have to put this insertion priority as something, maybe 0 is the top. So maybe if I put like a -1 or something in there. Oh, hey, that did something. Well, that sucker is now topped. And this wind generator is now getting up steam. I wonder if I can just handle all of this with priorities. So let's go ahead and delete that channel. Put this back to insert. Put this back to its extract. Go into this bad boy and say, or go into this bad boy and, oh, -1. I wonder if that's why. Alright, so what I want to be seeing is that this remains topped out in power, and that each of the wind generators is getting sucked of power. And I think that may be doing it. So we've got stuff trickling into the power cell and then being sucked downstairs. Yeah, it looks like 0 is the top priority. So by having priority 0 be the controller so that it gets power first, and then having priority -1 for the energy cell, it'll suck the rest of the power. And I think we're in business. One last check. It's got power and is staying powered up. The wind generators are being consumed. And power is going from here downstairs. All right, we're in business. All right, so that's why I had to keep an eye on that one, because I'm still learning all this stuff. Let's see, back downstairs. Grab this, throw it back up here. Verify that, yeah, we still got power trickling in here. We're still cooking power into our big resonant energy cell at 750 million capacity, and it's up to 124 million. So that's going good. So what I was working on while I was waiting for that wind generator circuit to power down is I'm trying to make me one of these bad boys, an advanced induction coil with a capacity of 3.2 giga RF. Or whatever the hell that is. So I made 5 of these basic energy cubes, and then I had to upgrade one of them to an advanced energy cube, 3.2 million, and now I'm making 4 of these at 400 million each. And then we're going to put the 4 of these on our leftover advanced energy cube that we made one of into this to make an advanced induction coil of 3.2 watts. 3.2 lots. And again, this is just me figuring out my electricity store, my energy storage, and trying to use these energy cells or power cells from RF tools to move things about the base wirelessly. So we just sort of want to get all this stuff set up before I get too carried away with anything else, and also just get a realistic look at what our power generation is and if it's enough to do the kinds of things I want to be moving on to do. Which I think the 2 main things I want to get going are the applied energistics inventory and a drill, a mechanism drill, mining drill. Alright, so I'm going to pause here and I'm going to finish making our big monster and we'll see how that looks. Alright, I am back, and still fumble farting away through trying to get some better energy storage capabilities. I went through a lot of trouble to make the basic, or to make this advanced induction cell, and then realized that it needed to be part of a multi-block structure, because I didn't quite finish reading the instructions before getting into that. So I am going to be putting an advanced induction cell, which will hold 3.2 giga RF, and a basic induction provider, which will allow an output rate of 25,000 RF, into a multi-block structure surrounded by induction casing with an induction port or two. And we'll be building that all up and seeing what that does for us. So we have to have all sides of this be, let's go ahead and, so I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing here. So this is all new to me, and we'll see how this works out. But I'm going to try and do something along the lines of this. So it's got to be to hold the two, to completely surround the two key pieces here, that being the induction coil or induction cell, which holds all the energy, and the induction provider, which allows you to get it out. Those have to be completely surrounded, so that means we're going to be a 3 by 4 by 3 tall. I think I'll go ahead and put, these induction ports are made in sets of 2, so I think I'll go ahead and put, you know what, it makes more sense to put it on the corner, because then I have more access points. Again, learning as I go. And all of this is being teleported downstairs, but that's all right. We will go down there and get it. So let's pull that stuff back out, run back upstairs. So I'm just going to sort of put it up above this for now. Again, I still don't even know what the heck I'm doing, so where this is going to end up once I start making more sense of my life here and figuring out how this stuff works is anybody's guess. But we're going to go ahead and do this for now. So now I'll be able to access that from 2 or 3 directions if I come at it from the bottom. And we'll go ahead and fill in the rest of this structure. So again, this is going to have a huge amount of storage, and this should have the input-output capabilities that we need, at least for now. So this is going to be a big old power storage plant, and do I really not have enough casing for all of this? Let's see, a 3 by 3 by 4, so that's all right sized. I got a couple of these. You know what, these ate up more than I expected, because each of these took 4, so now I'm 4 short. Alright, so, or this took 4, and now I'm 4 short. So let me go make one more recipe of the induction casings, and I'll be right back. Alright, I needed to make some more steel, and this just makes me happy. So one of the things about this mod pack, yeah, it's a bit grindy and sort of like, you know, bootstrapping yourself up through all these tech layers is sort of a pain in the butt. But I now have, I needed a few more steel, and I've got this alloy furnace from Nuclear Craft, and iron ingot, and graphite ingot, steel. So, you know, when you start with no ability to make steel whatsoever, and then you have to make coal coke through a coke oven from Immersive Engineering, and then you got to blast furnace that into steel, and then it's just a huge multi-step, you know, crazy thing to be able to make steel that fast now. That kind of thing makes me happy. So, you know, the payoff for doing things like using this bad boy to ore double early, when someday I'll be like, you know, automatically quintupling my ore, it's that progression, that, you know, constant sense that you're moving forward, and things that were hard and a pain in the ass are now becoming easier and easier. That's what I enjoy about this mod pack. That and the fact that I'm learning so much. Like, I had no idea that Mekanism had these kinds of structures. And I think I might need to tap it with a configurator, the Mekanism configurator. Not sure. This is the first one of these I made. So let's see. I don't think I've hardly even used this thing. So state. How do I change the state on this? Don't even know how to use the damn configurator. All right, hold on. Let me figure out how to use this thing. Okay, so I don't think I actually need this, but if I crouch and hit M, so Shift M, I can change my configurator, but it turns out that's not the problem. I don't need to click it with the configurator. These edges cannot be ports. All of the corners, so these 2, these 4, these 3, basically all of those have to be casing, which means I'll have to put my ports somewhere in a center of a face. So for right now, I think I'll just put them here and here. So let me run down and grab those. And when I place these in the right position, the final block should go and it should burst into life. So let's try this. I think that's a legal place to put that now because it's not on one of the outside periphery edges here. Put that there, and if things are working, we should now get a burst of redstone particles. Hey, and we have a thing. And now if I click on any place on it, it'll tell me what I've got. So I've got 0 of 3.2 giga RF. I think that's 3.2 billion RF. So I'm not storing anything yet. I've got no input, no output. It shows the units in RF. If I click on this, it'll automatically convert them to other stuff for me. That's for display purposes. It will display the equivalents there. I also went ahead and made some Elite Universal cables for the capacity of 25.6. I don't have anything really to put in or out that big yet, but what else do we do? Statistics. All right. Don't know what that is. Yeah, cool. So we have a thing. We've got a big thing here. This is a hell of a battery at this induction matrix at a ability to store 3.2 giga RF. 3.2 giga RF. Now we just got to start putting power into it. So let's see what happens. I think this is starting to run a bit long, but I'm just going to go ahead and grab, is this the guy I want to grab? Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this guy and see if I can get it to start inputting stuff up there. Here it is. Let's see, I've made these cables, but let's see if I can just slap this on here. So doing that, I'm going to make all sides set to send energy. Hey, we're receiving energy. Maybe a little. The input is coming at 495 per tick. And the total power is, Yeah, so we're going 490,000, 500,000. So we are now filling this bad boy up. We're filling this bad boy up, and that power is coming from the linked network of this guy up here at our wind farm. So let's make sure we haven't broken this. So we are successfully sucking the flux energy out of all of our mechanism generators. We've got this priority, so the controller is staying powered, and all of the wind energy is going into this power cell, which is paired with the power cell downstairs. And that is all being sucked into this at a rate of 500 RF per tick, and we're up to 1.1 million RF already. All right, I think that's good. So I think for right now, I'm going to call it an episode. I think I'm probably past my normal cutoff of a half an hour. We now have storage, and I have the cables necessary to get things out of that storage pretty darn fast too if I need to. So probably now I'm going to do other things for a while and let some of that storage build up, and then we can move on to an empowerer from actually additions and trying to push into some other things. Eventually, hopefully, this will allow me to then do some other things like what is that other thing I want? The mechanism drill thing. So if I go at mechanism drill, no, not drill. What the heck is it called? Is it mining? Digital miner. So I have a raw bit. I have an advanced computer that I got from a reward. I can make those, I think, yes. So I can do all of this stuff, I think. So yeah, maybe now that we have more power storage and more power distribution capabilities with these bad boys, maybe we can go ahead and get a digital miner going and start getting some more stuff, because all of this business, making the guts of this and all of this plating, it took up a lot of gold, a lot of iron, and a lot of osmium. So I'm once again, even after spending half an hour doing some strip mining down over in the ravine, I'm now once again looking at dwindling gold reserves and etc. So yeah, I got to figure out how I want to link all this up. I think for right now, I'm just going to let things go the way they are. I was considering moving. I don't want to have any power sitting idle and unused. That's the key here. So this plutonium RTG is passively putting power in here. Our wind generators are putting power into our induction matrix. So now I have this stuff, which is making a decent amount, maybe 4,000 per tick. A decent amount. I'm not sure exactly how much, but a decent amount of power is going into these two capacitors, which are full. So I need to figure out how to make this contribute to the network too. And probably what I'll do is I'll probably make another RF tools, one of these bad boys, and then just hook it up here, so that any extra power when these are sitting idle also goes into our induction matrix. So I'm going to work on that and call it a night. All right, progress is being made. The fact that we can now store like 3.2, and this is another 0.75, so we can store almost 4 billion RF now. That's a good thing. So we're getting there. Yes, all right. I'm happy. I will talk to you next time. Bye.